So, welcome back to another episode of the Half and Half Scarf Football Podcast with me, Nick, and my mate Dom. We do this regularly where we try and pick subjects that we think are of interest and relevance, and we've got subjects lined up for the next few weeks, etc. But over a period of a few weeks, things happen in football, and we have to kind of observe on what we think of them because most of them usually piss us off, to be fair. So we've got another episode, episode 40, and I'll come to that in a second with Dom. More recent fan observations from the world of football because there's been a lot going on, and every 4 or 5 weeks we'll clarify what we think on some of those things, and we've got a list of things to go through today. So without further ado, introduce you back to Dom, my co-host, but it is episode 40. You're allowed to say your thing, Dom.
Yeah, can't believe it's episode 40. To one of our original listeners, our lovely friend Andy Newball. This is for you, Andy. I can't believe it's episode 40. Wherever you are in the world at the moment, mate, I hope you're listening soon, especially for you. We'll do it again when we get to 50, mate, but there you go. And I can't believe we're at number 40, mate. It has flown. And I've
It
loved
has.
it. Yeah, there you go.
Well, very briefly for our YouTube watchers, we had an episode last week on superstitions, which says that I can't wear a home shirt for an away game and an away shirt for a home game. But tomorrow, myself and 7,500 other Middlesbrough fans are going away to Blackburn. We're taking over the whole Darwin end, up the upper and lower tier, right the way across. And we've been asked by the sort of Borough fan groups, as it were, to wear some red. So I've got this, which is a red tracksuit top, doesn't count as a home shirt, so I'm definitely going to be wearing red tomorrow. I'll have an away shirt underneath it, and that's my superstition, not broken, but it definitely fits the bill. It's red, it's Borough, it's away, it's Blackburn, but it's not a home shirt. And you're going with a Dortmund special, aren't you, there?
Well, I've just gone with a black t-shirt, mate. So, I've literally just run it with it from having a walk with the dogs, which is one thing. Didn't have time to pick a top, which is second. But I also thought, in commemoration of our weekend away, and we were all in black for most of the time, all of us last weekend, I've continued the theme to, celebrate what was a glorious weekend away.
It was indeed.
Depending on how much of that we can still remember. But it was really
Yeah.
good. Very, very good.
Excellent. Right, well, let's move on to the observations bit, okay? There's a bit of structure. It's not all structured, but what I'm going to start with is a very controversial statement that Pep Guardiola has broken the Premier League and it's his fault. So the reason I say that is if you watch Chelsea and Newcastle in Europe this week, they were battered by pace and direct football. And Liverpool, who beat Galatasaray quite convincingly at Anfield in the Champions League, they won by throwing the kitchen sink at it. And they took the tippy tappy out of the game and they went full gegenpress, Jurgen Klopp esque football and put a decent Galatasaray team away quite comfortably. Could have been 7 or 8 on the night. So Chelsea and Newcastle battered by pace and direction. I thought PSG were sensational in terms of how they handled the breaks, how they took their chances, and how they made two top Premier League teams in Chelsea and Newcastle. Okay, Newcastle not necessarily elite, but Chelsea at least think they are. And we'll come more to that in a second. Made them look really ordinary, really pedestrian, and really predictable. And that's because they play in a broken, boring, dull as shit Premier League that Pep Guardiola has caused people to do. Is that a controversial start or what?
Slightly controversial, but I actually agree with you, to be honest, because I've been saying for a while. Sometimes people think you're mad, but I think Pep broke football a long time ago. There's no doubt he's a brilliant manager. There's no doubt he's a really skilled coach and he's passionate about the game. And it's really clever that he's been able to do what he did with Man City by, yes, he's bought some world-class players along the way, but generally he's bought players and made them world-class. But the system he uses and how he goes about doing it and how the teams play is absolutely soul-destroying. And everyone's tried to copy him. Oh, we need to play Guardiola football. No, we don't, because it's absolutely boring. When he was at Barca, he could do it because he had fabulous players. And they didn't just play like that all the time, but they were technically gifted and they were amazing. So that kind of football was superb to watch. Watching Man City do it week in, week out, no one cares. Apart from Man City fans, no one cares about Man City
Mm.
at all. They're just an oil club and no one cares about what they're doing. No one watches them. No one's remotely interested. No one wants them to win anything. But the way they play football, it is just, yeah, it's literally sucked the life out of everything. And it's another element among many that's literally ruining the Premier League and making it the boring spectacle that it is.
Yeah.
And it's, yeah, I completely agree. You know, Liverpool's and PSG, the way they play, and Barca, but you know, there's more than one way to win a football match. But literally, it's about getting the ball in the back of the net. So you know, yeah, the way Liverpool went about it was exactly what you'd expect. But do you know, and similar to that point when we were away last week, mate, when we were actually Gladbach versus St. Pauli, they were doing the same thing, weren't they? I mean, St.
Yeah.
Paul, there's no urgency to try and get an equaliser. It's like, do you know what? Let's knock it to the side. Let's knock it back into the middle. Let's knock it back out to the other side. Let's not try and get it over the top to the striker. Let's not try and get it in over, in behind. Let's not
Mm.
try and do anything different. Striker didn't have a touch all game, did he? It was
No.
the most boring game of football I've watched in a long time. But they didn't try and do it. It was almost like we have to play this style of football. We're not going to think outside the box. We're not going to do anything else. And that's how so many teams are playing. So, yes, in a long, drawn-out answer, mate, I agree with you.
I'll tell you what, though, going back to that game last week, there was ample opportunity for the ball over the top to a striker who had pace. He was a big, strong lad.
Big, strong lad. And did they do it once? They didn't even try to do it. If they'd
No.
tried to do it, I'd have had some admiration for them, or at least, yeah, exactly. But they didn't even try. It just kept knocking it through. It's like you are losing this game, and
Yeah.
the way it stands, you're at risk of getting relegated. So why don't you book your ideas up, do something different? It was, yeah, and that's that's the other key point. It's not just in the Premier League. His style of football, everyone's trying to play it, and it's like, just stop, please, do something different.
I would say as well, by the way, and I don't often give Spurs much credit on here, but I watched the highlights of the Spurs game against Atletico Madrid the other night, and Spurs have had a lot of flack, and from us included, and about heart and soul and endeavour and all that kind of thing. But actually, they beat a decent Atletico side on the night. They didn't obviously get through. But when you watch them, they weren't playing tippy-tappy. They were going for it, and they were going for the throat, and they were passing it round the back and trying to get in and pretty direct and all that kind of. And they got the rewards for the 3-2. And funnily enough, Newcastle in the first half at Barca, there were 2-2 just before half time, and they were going at it like two prize fighters, going for it, going for it, going for it. Then the minute Newcastle sat back, Barca just absolutely destroyed them. So if you're a Premier League club, or you're a club who think you should aspire to play like Man City in their prime, or God forbid you think you're going to be good enough to be Barca in 2011, you're not. So don't do it. Mix it up. Sometimes it's okay for the keeper to long ball. Sometimes it's okay to get it down the wing and straight into the box. Sometimes it's okay to plough through the middle and break the lines and look to have a shot from 25 yards. Villa have scored more goals from outside the box than any other team because they've got Morgan Rogers in the team and people like that who, they see it opening up and think, I'll give it a go. I hate watching most Premier League football. And as a Borough fan, obviously we aspire to be in there next season. I'm thinking to myself, God, I don't know. The journey's better than the destination by the looks of it. Yeah.
I know. I keep saying it to you, don't I? And I probably irritate you by saying it because I think I'm sometimes bringing down the mood. But, with being a Borough fan, but being an adopted Evertonian, I see it week in, week out. And as much as I want Borough to be successful and go up, I know what's waiting for them. And it's just pain because we won't, we'll struggle. We won't. I don't see us. I really admire how Kieran Scott recruits, and we might recruit really well if we go up, and we might surprise ourselves. But it invariably doesn't work that well. I think Sunderland, as far as it's worked well for Sunderland in their recruitment, bearing in mind they bought 12, 15 players, and they all gelled really well. That's good planning and it's good recruitment, but there's also an element of luck in there and how they all gel together. You can't always say I'm going to do this and it's going to work. So
Mm.
whatever happens to us, it's hard yards, whichever way you look at it, and it's hard to enjoy because you know the teams that are most of the time invariably stronger and better. The football's more boring, and
Yeah,
really, you can't. It's designed for you to not for you to succeed. They don't
yeah,
really want you there. That's the thing, and it's tragic because that's another element of what the Premier League's become. They're not really interested. They kind of are, but you're just there to make up the numbers, really. I mean, if
yeah,
you suddenly did something amazing, they'd be all over you like a rash. But and I'm not saying. And my next point, I'm not going to say this to be trying to be controversial or snide because I really love what Wrexham have done. But Wrexham are almost tailor made for the Premier League because Sky and all the sponsors will be all over them like a rash.
yeah.
It's almost like, oh, Hollywood, we can buy into this because it's another way of making money, making
It is.
coin,
Mm.
and so they'd be more interested in that and be all over them rather than a proper club like us who I think we'll struggle, mate, if we go up. And I hate to say that, but I just think we will. And I thought Sunderland would be the same before they recruited. I thought, God, they'll come straight back down. But even with the recruitment they made, it was still a gamble.
Yeah.
So last time we went up, we made some good signings. We didn't utilise them the right way. Will we make the same mistake? I mean, God, we've got to get up there first. But yeah, I think you summed it up, mate. The journey's more exciting than what's at the end of the rainbow. Sadly.
Well, I do believe that we've got a more exciting coach in charge if we do go
Yeah,
up in Kim Helberg.
absolutely.
When
Yes,
when
definitely.
we went up under Karanka, I think his attitude was 38 nil draws gets us 38 points, and oh my God, it was
Definitely.
woeful,
He played
wasn't
for a
it?
draw every week, didn't he? I mean,
Yeah,
there was games where we were playing really, really well and really could have gone for it and got a result, and he just wasn't interested, and it was his
no,
downfall, really.
yeah,
Yeah, Helbert not like that at all. I think he'll throw it full throttle at it and go for it, which will be exciting,
yeah.
and it might mean that I'm proved wrong, and I hope I am if we do. But when you just can't see it. But I really hope we just don't fall into that trap of being in the bottom three all year because it's miserable when it happens. It just
Okay.
is. It really
Well,
is.
let's get a little bit more miserable before we get a little bit more excited, right? I've got a few things that have come up. Okay,
Yeah,
so Wrexham versus Chelsea recently in the FA Cup. So it was the fifth round. So there was no VAR in the fourth round, funnily enough. But funnily enough, as soon as the bigger teams are getting a bit closer to Wembley, they bring VAR in so they can protect them. So Wrexham had a man sent off and a goal for 3-all disallowed by VAR. That's the magic of the FA Cup ruined right there, bringing VAR in the FA Cup.
yeah,
What's wrong with keeping the tournament VAR free? Because it was VAR free up to round five, and suddenly it's like, right, we bring VAR in. And that spoilt the entire end of what was a brilliant game of football, and it would have been 3-all deep into I think it was extra time at that time, deep
was.
into extra
Yeah,
time, and a man was sent off for literally no reason whatsoever because VAR intervened. That would have been 3-all, gone to penalties, and would have been the magic of the FA Cup for a
yeah,
story for a generation. But no, I'll tell you what we'll do. We'll suck the bloody living daylights out of something else now. And I don't think the competition can have VAR in round five, not having had it in rounds one, two, three, four. It just doesn't make any sense. It's just wrong on every level, that for me.
but it was also one of those decisions that no one was up in arms saying
No?
the referees missed. They just were. They weren't. If VAR hadn't got involved, no one would have complained about it. No
Yeah,
one, and that's what really annoys me again because it's what you really want VAR for is where you can actually see there's been an injustice and it goes, hang on, there's something really wrong there. We need to correct that. But no, let's be really pedantic and just go back and fuck all over what's the referee's done because actually we just want to stick our oar in and just ruin what was a brilliant game. And it
yeah,
is, I'm not being funny, but everyone, if listeners, just go and do your research on Chelsea in the FA Cup. Look at the draws they get over the years. Look at the teams they draw. Look at look at who they play against. Look how the results pan out. I'm not kidding you. Someone somewhere desperately wants Chelsea to win, to be in the last four or in the final or to win the FA Cup every
yeah,
year. It's
yeah,
ridiculous the draws they get in the third, fourth, fifth round. It's honestly, it's a joke because no one else gets the rub of the green like they do. It's unbelievable.
Well, without this being a VAR bashing episode, I've got another one written down for further on, but I'll do it now. Villa played Brentford in the Premier League recently, and Tammy Abraham had a goal disallowed by VAR after the ball went out of play near the Villa goal line. Now, between the ball going out on the Villa goal line and Tammy Abraham scoring, there were 7 passes and 46 seconds between the alleged incident and the goal. Now, first of all, it wasn't 1,000% clear that it had gone out. It probably looked like it had gone out. But how far back do you want to go to disallow a goal? Anything can happen in 7 passes, and lots can happen in 46 seconds on a football pitch. If you missed it 46 seconds ago and you missed it 7 passes ago, you've missed it. Surely
It's
that's it. That's it,
yeah,
surely.
and I think this is the other thing that where we all struggle with VAR because football is one of those sports where it it's better for being slightly imperfect. I mean, every sport is, to be honest. I shouldn't really just single out football, but it's not about trying to correct everything and make everything absolutely official. I mean, if it did go over the line, you're talking fractions over the line
Mm,
again. So has it really dramatically? I mean, I know people say, well, if it's out, it's out. It means that's it. But it's like, but if it's so contentious that actually you're debating it, does it really matter?
no.
Really that much? I mean, I could go back and argue and this is a fact. But I remember back in 2016 League Cup semi-final, we were 3-1 up at Man City in the second leg. Everton were, and when Man City got their second goal to bring it to 3-2, they subsequently went on and got 3-3 and won it in extra time. The cross for their second goal was clearly out, but
Yeah,
you know it was out by quite. You could actually see it in the slow mo, but you had to slow it down to see it. In the
yeah,
in normal play, you couldn't see it, and really you could argue, well, okay, yes, it was slightly out, but even then, you still had to go a long way into losing the game. So you can't really sometimes say, oh, but it's that moment that changed. It's like, was it really?
nah,
There's
nah.
so many other things that can happen in a game of football after that. You can't. Yeah, it's. I agree with you. It's little things, isn't it? It's just trying to pick up on every slight detail all the time. But again, and we come back to it, and I know we'll probably bore it with it, but it's the inconsistency that drives me mad.
Mm,
It, it's one thing one week and something else the following week. It's never consistent. It's never applied consistently. And I know big clubs will say, "Oh, well, we get our fair share." Yeah, they do, but really over a season, I think they get a lot more rub of the green than the likes of Everton or Burnley or Wolves or someone like that. So
yeah,
just poorly administered, and they stick their oar in when they don't need to, and it is leading to referees not making their own decisions.
yeah.
And sometimes I get sick of them going to the screen, mate. I get fed up with them going to the screen. It's just like, oh, here we go. They're just going to chalk it off now for some pedantic rule because it's
Seven,
literally within the rules. And the rules need changing then sometimes.
7 passes in 46 seconds is a long time in football. You should never be going back that far. Let's move on from VAR because we can sit here and slag it off all the time. I've got some quick observations. Then we're going to get on to another controversial statement that football is bent. Anyway, I'll come back to that in a second. Wolves in the FA Cup again. These are observations from recent FA Cup games. They went 1-0 up at Grimsby. At Grimsby, I'll say that again. At Grimsby. League Two, Grimsby, 1-0 up Wolves, and they started singing, we're winning away, we're winning away, how shit must you be, we're winning away. I mean, I'll be honest with you, Wolves fans, that
Yeah,
is pathetic. It's pathetic.
yeah, it's a bit sad, really. But yeah, I mean they're having a grim old season. Although I hate to say it, Rob Edwards does seem to be getting a tune out of them. But yeah, just fans do better. Come on,
Yeah,
how
I've
much
got,
it was cheap. It's like you're playing Grimsby for fuck's sake. Get a life.
exactly. I've got some more fans must do better, right? In a recent game in League One, Bolton were 2-0 down on 88 minutes at home to Wickham. Place is empty. Bolton score on 88, the score on 91, and the score a screamer on
I
95.
saw the highlights. It was brilliant.
Place is two-thirds empty. And I just think to myself, you deserve to miss
You
that. If you
do.
left early,
You
I
do.
mean, those are the games. If you're there and you're investing, bear in mind it was a playoff kind of level game. You know, Wickham were up there, Bolton were up there. Big game. You know, Bolton a big club in that division. Wickham not so much, but you know, been around a while. 88-91 and a screamer on 95 to win it, and you've left because you want to beat the crowds. You're
No, well,
pathetic.
not even that. It's not. Sometimes it's not about beating the crowd. It's just you've spat your dummy. I've seen it. I've said before. There was at Goodison was a guy who consistently walk out all the time. He'd storm out if he thought there was no way back into a game. He'd habitually leave 20 minutes before the end anyway. But the amount of games I saw him walk out of, and then we'd come back and win or
Yeah,
draw. He walked out the door because he was sulking the last one at Goodison, and then we got that screamer of an equaliser. And yeah, it was a draw, but it was the occasion and what it
it's a
meant.
generational draw, that, isn't it? Yeah,
But also,
absolutely.
and I've said this before on this pod, it's also, here's an idea. It's 45 minutes a half. Seriously.
Yeah,
It's
yeah,
90 minutes plus the half time. You know, if you've made the effort to go to the game and you've done all these things to get there, just sit there and support your team. Don't be leaving before the end. Don't
yeah.
walk out at in 10 minutes before half time and come back 10 minutes after. Just, support your team and watch the game. It's why I never, ever leave a football match early. Never have, never will.
You can you can never underestimate what might happen. It takes a second to score a goal, doesn't it? That's it. You know.
That's it. And 9 times out of 10, you know it's not going to happen. You know
Yeah,
it. But stranger things have happened, and I've seen it happen, and I've witnessed it, and
yeah,
it is absolutely true. I've watched teams score a goal and then literally from the kickoff score again, and
yeah,
it's happened to us. I remember just the other. I mean, I was mentioning it. I think I mentioned on the last pod about superstitions, and casually mentioned it to me, and she tore my head off. It's the time when we were 2-0 up at Newcastle. Ancelotti's season really comfortable. Steve Bruce was Newcastle's manager. They were absolutely appalling all game. And then literally from two long throws, scored two goals in a minute, less than a minute. They scored, kicked off, scored again, and it was 2-2.
yeah,
And there was still about 2 or 3 minutes left, and they nearly scored a third to win it. So you never
yeah.
know.
Exactly.
You never know. And it just, yeah, so, yeah, to all those Bolton fans, I'm glad you missed it because you deserve to.
Good stuff. I've got a couple of things here I want to just add into. We will get to the football's bent statement in a minute.
Yes.
Forest have signed a 6'6" guy from Italy called Luca. His nickname, this is genius, Pizza Crouch. Pizza Crouch. That not football fans at their most genius hilarity? That is 6'6" Luca from Italy. Pizza Crouch.
That's
Just
brilliant. Yeah, you can't beat the humour of football fans, mate. That is a good one. I love that. Yeah,
well done, Forest fans. I've got a note here. KSI has taken a stake in Dagenham and Redbridge. You know,
yeah.
YouTube influencer guy, and this is the bit that got me. His immediate statement was, "I want to take Dagenham and Redbridge to the Premier League." Oh, do shut up, KSI, please. You know, you're not Wrexham. You haven't got the money that these two guys have got at Wrexham. There's only one Wrexham dream. We want to take Dagenham and Redbridge to the Premier League. You know what? Try just winning a few games occasionally, mate. Shut the fuck up and stop being a prick. I just thought I'd share that
Sorry,
with
look,
you.
it's KSI. He's in the same remit as that Joker, Jake Paul, and all them. All these fucking influencers who suddenly think they're amazing and they've got a right to, and the skill to be involved in this. It's no, you haven't. You've just got a bit of cash. You haven't
Yeah,
got any. You can make these statements until you're blue in the face, but what you haven't got is what Reynolds and McElhenney did, which is they actually brought in the right people to run the club.
yeah.
We'll get back to you in a couple of years' time, mate, and see where you are with that statement. Then, just ridiculous. It's like
I don't think they'll have had back. I don't think they'll have had back promotions at that point. Do you?
yeah, it's like did you see all the ridiculousness at the I don't know what Swansea Stadium's called now, but when Snoop Dogg's taken
Oh,
Jesus Christ, it's like yeah, because he's going to do really great things for you, isn't he? He just isn't. Pure and simple.
no.
Pure and simple, he isn't. We've got loads of Americans involved in Everton who are linked to the ownership structure, and it's like nobody has the fucking slightest clue what they're actually bringing to the table. and the
Yeah.
chances are probably nothing.
Mm.
And but if they are, it's like, well, do you want to explain what you are bringing, please? Because I don't see it, and none of you. You might be sportsmen, you might be, but none of you know football.
Yeah.
You don't know how English football works. So,
It's
and
a
it's
bit like Tom Brady, at Birmingham, isn't it? You know, he's
yeah,
Tom Brady, you know, called the GOAT in terms of American football, quarterback and whatever, and he's obviously a winner, but he's that kind of American, annoying kind of college boy, done
yeah,
good kind of thing,
and
and it's like,
yeah.
shut up.
And I'm sorry, but I don't want your Americanized ideas in the English game, because that's another contributory factor is to in what's ruining the game.
Yeah,
It's, the American influences that slowly but surely they are going to try and influence their way of doing things on football, and that is not football. That will ruin it. I mean, the pyramid's fucked anyway, because the Premier League's just completely greedy and is obsessed with money, and they don't want any sporting integrity anyway. It's not a sport anymore, mate. Remember, it's a business. It's not about sport. It's basically the rich win. That's really what it is, mate. It's the rich win.
right. You are almost without doubt the best segue introducer on a
Yeah,
podcast
yeah,
ever.
I am,
That
mate.
leads me beautifully to my football is bent scenario. Okay, we are going to finish this podcast with some wonderful celebrations of some wonderful things in football, but the middle bit here is about bent football.
Yeah,
Okay, so the first thing is, this isn't about being bent, it's about actually not giving a shit about fans. It's been announced that there are no EFL Championship fixtures across the Easter weekend in 2027. None. No consultation. FIFA have just put the international break across the Easter weekend. Now, they didn't play Boxing Day fixtures in the Premier League this season, only one, I think, and that was at 8 o'clock on Boxing Day night.
yeah.
Now they're taking the Easter fixtures from the Championship. The Easter fixtures and the Easter schedule in the Championship is one of the high points of the season. It's defining. There's been loads of games over that period of time. The one that sticks in my mind, when Leeds were going for promotion a few years ago, flying. They were playing on Good Friday at home to Wigan. They were 1-0 up. Wigan had a man sent off and Wigan won 2-1.
Yeah.
And suddenly Leeds are like, oh shit, hang on, we're looking over our shoulder. I don't know if they went up or they didn't go up that season, but Sheffield United won at Elland Road at that particular time. I've seen that happen. Borough have done really well over Easter and done really badly over Easter. The season we didn't get promoted, when we lost in the playoff final, we lost at Watford and we lost at Bournemouth in consecutive days. You know, we lost on the and that put our season, derailed it. We finished third and missed out on the playoffs to Norwich. Easter weekend should be sacrosanct in Championship football and in football in general. And to introduce an international break with no consultation just says, FIFA just go, yeah, oh, fans, sorry, we don't give a shit.
They don't give a shit, mate. They couldn't give a rat's ass. The other important point on that is Easter weekend, because it's actually, schools are off, it's holiday, it's a long weekend. Families often take
Money.
Fans often take a week. Families often take a week off or either side of Easter, so it's like has a holiday feel.
Yeah,
You do get increased gates at the matches.
yeah,
So you've got, like, we've got Millwall at home on the Friday, and then we're away at Swansea on the Monday. I mean, that Friday might get a lot of people in the door anyway, because it's an important match, against Millwall, who are pushing us every step of the way. But there's a good chance we might sell out that. So
yeah.
if that's next year, we're missing that opportunity, and that's huge revenue for Middlesbrough.
Yeah.
We very rarely sell out. We often get 20. We're lucky if we get 25,000 in the door.
No. 28, 29 this season, mate. Don't be decrying the 28, 29, mate.
No, I know this. I'm not talking about this season. I'm talking
Yeah.
generally. If we weren't where we are now this season, if this was last season, we'd be at the 22, 23 mark. I'm
Okay.
right in that, aren't I? Really?
Yeah.
So generally, we're still between 10 and 12,000 fans short every match day. Easter's one of those, like Boxing Day. You get a much needed boost in revenue. I mean, Christ, if you're one of these clubs who's looking to have perhaps 2 home games over that Easter period, you can make quite a bit of money. Fans are in a good mood, relaxed, holiday period, and they spend money. So yeah,
Yeah.
you're taking that away from them completely, and you're not replacing it anywhere. So yeah,
No.
I absolutely do agree. You know,
We
it's
take we taking a full house, I think, or we will do to Swansea on Easter Monday, and Swansea will have a bigger crowd than normal because of the holiday period, like you say. So it'll be a good atmosphere at Swansea, and they'll have a big crowd. We'll have a full away end. If they take that away and make it a Tuesday night, middle of the week sometime, you're gonna knock 10,000 off the gate, aren't you?
you could, yeah, yeah. I mean, it is a shame. It's 5:30 on a Monday. It's a hard one for fans to get to. Again, it's
Yeah,
a long trip to South Wales and back for a 5:30 kickoff on Easter Monday for those who are working on the Tuesday. But yeah, it's just the fact again, no consultation. It's
yeah,
literally like we're just going to do this, so we don't care.
yeah.
It's like anything. There's no consideration for anything anymore. No one. Yeah, it's just wrong, isn't it? You end up running out of words because it's just wrong.
Well, let's talk about no consideration. No consideration for world politics. Infantino has publicly announced that he thinks that Russia should be allowed to play again and compete in FIFA tournaments. What the fuck? Read the room, right? This is Russia who invaded and violated Ukraine and is still doing so on a daily basis.
Yeah,
And Infantino thinks that, you know what, football's different to that. Why don't we lift the ban on Russia because it seems a bit unfair that they can't participate and potentially qualify for a World Cup? I wonder if there's any, I don't know, money involved in those kind of decisions and publicity stunts.
let's face it, he's probably cozying up to Putin, isn't he? I mean, he
Yeah,
cozies up all the politicians. I mean, just that nonsense with Trump and the Peace Prize. You're supposed to be impartial, FIFA, for fuck's sake. You're about running football. You're supposed
yeah,
to be looking after and protecting rights of fans. You're supposed to be looking after fans. But FIFA aren't doing that. They don't give a shit about fans. All they give a shit about is how much money they can make out of people,
yeah,
and cozying up to politicians and making behind backdoor deals and stuff like that. It's all just a very murky, and I hate to say it, but it is. It's just a corrupt world. Let's face it. I mean, on what planet do you could look at it on two levels, can't you? You could say, well, the Russian sportsmen and the players who play for their team in their country, why should they be penalised? It's not about that. It's not about being political. It's just a moral. It's a moral decision to say, well, no,
yeah,
get your
yeah,
act in order as a country, and then you're welcome back with open arms. Until
yeah.
then, I'm sorry, but no. What does that say to them? What does that? It just basically says, oh, we don't care. You can carry on. You can do what the hell you like in your country, but no, we'll just carry on as if none of that's happening in terms of football.
It's almost like if you paid your subs, you can come and join, doesn't it?
Yeah,
You know what I mean? It's like
yeah,
rubbish.
yeah.
Speaking of which, one of the biggest and most bizarre things that I've ever witnessed in following football for over 50 years is weeks after the event, the AFCON final has been overturned and Morocco have been
Yeah,
declared winners over Senegal, but weeks and weeks and weeks after the event. And because AFCON were desperate, and I mean desperate, for Morocco to
yeah,
win it because the Moroccan president had ploughed millions and millions of pounds into AFCON, the tournament,
yeah,
and the host nation.
yeah,
How can you overturn a tournament result weeks and weeks and weeks after that and just award it, by moratorium to, oh well, we'll give it to Morocco because Senegal left the pitch, and actually they didn't because Sadio Mane stayed on the pitch. So this is, I mean, what the hell? I heard this the other day and I thought, was it the 1st of April? I was looking for the
yeah.
date. That
It's
can't be right.
corruption gone mad, mate. That is corruption. This is literally um, AFCON and the governing bodies all getting together and thinking of, how does this, from a political point of view or from a country plowing money in, and what do they want to get out of it? Let's just pacify them and give them what they actually wanted in the first place. Really, it just stinks. It's walking past so many laws and articles. I mean, I think is it Article 15? I think it's that they've walked past where literally um, they're saying it's void because Senegal walked off the pitch. Therefore, it's the game's null and void, and Morocco win 3-0. But it's the referee sanctioned all of it.
Yeah,
And so it's the referee has the final word on the game. So the referee sanctioned every bit of it, and AFCON agreed with everything the referee did at the time.
yeah,
So they agreed with everything the referee did, which means they agreed with how the game was run and everything that went on with the game. And even though there was lots of things that shouldn't have happened in that game, it ran to a conclusion, and
yeah,
none of it was fixed. None of it looked like it was geared towards Senegal. I mean, let's face it, Morocco got a shockingly soft penalty that was never a penalty in a million years.
yeah.
Took a disastrous penalty which backfired on them, and that's the crux of it. It's like, no, we should have won at that moment and we didn't. So can we find a way of doing this? And kind of, even though we didn't score the penalty, we shouldn't have got the penalty and didn't score it. Is there a way of now awarding it to us anyway without actually playing the football? Can we do
Yeah.
that, please? So can you make that happen? So it's absolute crap. The referee sanctioned them going off the pitch. He authorised it. It's all in his match report. So
Yeah.
Senegal won fair and square. It's just an abomination for football, mate. And it makes you question the governance and the authority within AFCON football, because
Yeah.
you've just undermined an entire tournament. It's basically made that tournament a waste of time.
And an entire continent, to be fair, because the entire
Yeah,
continent will be up in arms with that, won't
yeah,
they?
yeah. And I hope they take it to the sport of arbitration, and if they rule against it, I hope they take it further. I think you can go. I think I can't remember what it is now. You can actually go further than that and challenge it further. But Senegal needs to just raise a massive, kick up a massive stink and take this as far as they can, because it absolutely stinks.
What Senegal need to do is keep the trophy, lock it in a big room, all keep the medals, and just stick two big fingers up to Morocco and AFCON in general, and say, well, come and get them then. Come on, if you think
Yeah.
you're big enough and hard enough, come and get the trophy back, because you're not getting it by rights. I'm not going to hand it over to you. Why the hell would we?
Do you know what?
So
But the sad thing, mate, is these decisions are made by people who aren't really interested in the integrity of the sport.
oh no,
That's what's really bothering me. It's no. You generally get the feeling that you've got a crowd of people sat in a room, all of who are as clueless as fuck and know how don't know how football should work properly, don't care how it should work properly, and don't really seem to understand the ramifications of the decisions they make, because
yeah,
they reverberate outwards and they have a massive effect on the game, and it's just another nail in the game's gone. How many
yeah.
times do you hear now the game's gone? Because it's literally in the last 10 years, so many things that are happening in football, it's rapidly declining. It's becoming, it's losing its soul because it's so orchestrated around politics. And I mean, there's always been politics in football. People who try and say there isn't, of course there is.
Yeah,
But it now seems to be at a point where governing bodies and individuals, if you're powerful enough or you've got enough money, seem to have more of an influential voice than
yeah.
actually the integrity of the sport. And that's what really worries me, mate. It's really, really quite concerning.
I promised the audience to stick with us. We're going to celebrate some really good stuff at
We
the
are,
end.
I promise, listeners, we are.
But before we do, because this is the Half and Half Scarf, and Half and Half Scarf football podcast is named after all the things that are an abomination in football, we have to cover abominations. It's part of our DNA for doing
It
so.
is, absolutely. Yeah, we
So,
cover a lot of lovely stuff, but we have to call out the stuff that we don't like, mate. So yes, carry on into the next segment, mate. Please do.
oh, this is the right. See, I'm setting this up, and I know. Right? Okay, I'm just going to mention Chelsea, 74 charges, 11 million pound fine, a knuckle wrap at best, and let's forget it. But before I let Dom loose on this, because honestly, this might be like I might have to put a proper expletives on this one. Conversely, another big club, by no means as big as Chelsea like to think they are, Sheffield Wednesday, they've been treated abominably by Chansiri, their previous owner. And also, the EFL don't seem to want to help them to get out of the mess that they're in. So they've already confirmed a 15-point deduction at the start of next season. And I accept the fact that if you're Luton or Leeds or somebody else like that, you say, well, that's the precedent, it's there. So they're going to start next season a league lower down in League One with a 15-point deduction. But then on top of that, the EFL have said you've got a maximum wage cap of 7 grand a week. Don't get me wrong, we'd all like to earn 7 grand a week, I guess. 7 grand a week on players, which means that they can't buy any properly established, decent level players to help them to
Yeah.
get that 15-point deduction back. And that is their governing body, the EFL, stabbing them while they're down and standing on the neck at the same time. Whereas Chelsea, in the bloody Premier League environment, they just get like oh yeah, you know what? You were a bit naughty, really, but it was your previous owners, so, and you were very kind to share the
Yeah.
information with us. 11 million quid? You're joking, aren't you? They've found that down the back of the sofa in the chairman's office, haven't they? I'll let you loose on Chelsea now, Tom. Off you go, mate.
It's just an absolute shit show. And let's face it, you know, people might try and defend it. Let's call it what it is. It's just leniency. It's one rule for one and another for somebody else. I mean, isn't it funny how a lot of the people involved in Chelsea were integral in getting Richard Masters put in at the Premier League. Let's face it, he's just done him a nice turn, hasn't he? It's like, well, we're not involved. We and the FA brought these charges and everything else, and it's literally, oh well, it was under Abramovich's era. They came and told us they were really nice and cooperative, and they were really honest and came forward. So that's wonderful. That is. So we just thought, give them a little transfer embargo, 10 million quid, which by the way was covered in the takeover dealings. So they don't even have to pay that because it's already paid. But we'll just walk past the fact that for 7 years you were knowingly doing something wrong. You were backhanding agents. Who knows how many players that's influenced in coming through your academy, through your doors, who you then sold on at a nice profit that might have gone elsewhere. How have those players impacted you in terms of the trophies you've won? It's almost like, oh, but yeah, come on, let's be friends about it. But oh no, here's another one: Everton and Nottingham Forest. So they weren't trying to hide anything; they were just trying to compete. And even though it's PSR, which is not what Chelsea were fined for, it's literally, well, we're the Premier League, and we're going to try out these new rules, and we're going to nail you for this, and we're going to really punish you. So in Everton's case, it was 19 million quid. And it was a time when these accounts were through COVID. We lost all our major sponsors because it was also the Ukraine war, and we had sponsors through Russia.
Mm.
So we lost all our sponsors. We were trying to build a stadium during COVID, and it was 19 million. And the club came forward and said, "Well, we didn't. It's not on purpose. Please show us what sporting advantage we had from this 19 million quid." Nottingham Forest were the same. They gained no sporting advantage from it at all. They came forward. They gave everything. They fully cooperated. There was a slight anomaly the following year with Everton, and we got 6 points in the end. But the Premier League wanted to give us 12. They wanted to literally nail us and relegate us, and they wanted to do the same to Nottingham Forest as well. But when Chelsea come along and do something that, in my eyes, is actually deliberately against sporting integrity and not doing by the rules, because you're doing something underhand and illegal, basically. Oh, it's
And
10 million quid.
With a sporting advantage.
And with a sporting, I'm like, no, just 10 million quid. Oh, you've paid it. No, it's fine then. Oh, quick transfer ban. What do you reckon? 9 months? Yeah, great. We'll do that, and then we'll move on. Fantastic, job done. And then, oh, here's an idea. Manchester City, the gift that just keeps on giving. So we're now 14 months past when all the rulings were all sorted. So this 3-man panel, what are they doing? 14 months, what are they doing? So can anyone tell me? I know exactly what's going to happen with this. It's going to come back and go, well, do you know what? We just really can't find anything, really concrete. So it's a not guilty, I'm afraid. Just a, slap on a wrist. You were a bit naughty, but don't do it again, will you?
Mm.
It's the whole lot of it, mate. It absolutely.
It stinks.
Whereas Chef Wednesday, yes, they've made mistakes. Yes, the ownership structure was horrific. But when you identify that, and everyone knew it, you take that out. You're into administration, so you eliminate the bad egg. Surely it's then about, okay, so we're back to square one. What do we need to do to help you to reintegrate, get the right ownership structure, and start again for your fans and your city? And by the way, they are a massive football club. No,
Yeah.
we won't do that. What we'll do is we'll hamstring you everywhere we can. And then,
Mm.
even though you've already been deducted with points and you're going down, we'll literally kick you where it hurts and give you another 15-point deduction. And then that's literally consigning you to League Two straight away.
Yeah.
What are you doing to that club? How are you helping them? You're not help.
Where
You're literally
where's your
trying to
governance? Where's your governance?
where's your governance? But you should be almost saying, well, that's now gone. We're going to help Chef Wednesday now because we need to, because they're part of our football institution. They've got something wrong,
Mm.
but ultimately, that's also on the EFL because they sanction Chansiri as a fit and proper owner. So
Yeah.
that they're just as culpable. So they should be standing up and saying, we were also involved in this. We're going to
Mm.
help you now. That's gone out of football. I mean, look, you see how mercenary everyone is, mate. I mean, with the Everton situation, literally, they're like a pack of wolves. So I think it's Burnley and Leicester have taken us to court for damages because of the PSR. 90 million quid.
Yeah.
Absolutely no sporting advantage what gained at all.
Yeah.
So we stayed up fair and square, despite all the stuff kicked at us. They went down fair and square, but no. We're going to try and get our pound of flesh because there's a kind of legal loophole there, so we can. Again, it's all, none of it's about sport anymore. It's all
No.
about
Money.
business and money. There's no, yeah, it's just wrong, mate. And I really feel for Sheffield Wednesday and their fans because they're going through it, and the worry is, I'm not sure how they're getting out of this anytime soon. It's
Well,
going to get worse before it gets better, isn't it?
just briefly, I guarantee that Luton and Portsmouth fans and a few others are shouting at the radio, at the podcast and saying, "Well, it happened to us. It happened to us. It shouldn't have happened to you either, by the way, folks. So just because it happened to you,
Just
it
to make that
doesn't
clear. Yes,
it
yes.
doesn't mean a
Well said.
precedent. It doesn't mean a precedent is if it's a shit precedent, it's a shit
Well
precedent.
said, mate. Exactly.
Luton shouldn't have got hammered. They got hammered like 24 points here and
Yeah,
15 points there. Portsmouth went down right through because of points deductions. I'm just saying, change the rules. And okay, that's you can't take back what happened to Portsmouth, what happened to Luton. But you're both back. Well, Luton obviously dropped down last season, but you're both back as solid, EFL clubs now. Hammering the team while they're down is just wrong, and the EFL have got that wrong on every level for me. Let's celebrate though. We'll finish with some celebrations, right? This came out on Wednesday, Tuesday night. Bove scores his first goal in English football for Watford. Okay, so Bove was signed by Watford in the summer. He got the third in a 3-1 win at home against Wrexham. Nothing amazing about that, right? But his first goal in England, but more importantly, it was his first goal since he had a cardiac arrest on the pitch in Italy in 2024. Amazing. What
yeah.
a story. And the guy, he's like celebrated as you would, not just a goal, but celebrated the fact that he's still alive. Took his shirt off and the ref still booked him. It's like, I know the rules, but read the room, referee. The guy,
Anyway, we've said
oh,
it before, it's such a ridiculous rule.
but
God,
the guy died on the pitch,
I
and then
know.
he's like
He's,
resurrected
he's
like Lazarus.
highlighting it. Yeah, he's highlighting it. It's like, for God's sake, seriously, make an exception for once.
Yeah.
It's
The, the the celebrations were brilliant, and you know what? He got his booking, but his first goal in English football, overlapping the fact of his first goal since he actually literally died on the pitch in 2024. Welcome to England, Bove. You're more than welcome to keep playing the Championship. And apart from playing against Middlesbrough and scoring against us, I hope you continue to do brilliantly well. Okay, I've got a few other things
yeah,
I want to celebrate. I want to celebrate Levi Colwell from Cardiff, right? This is a post that came out the other day. You might not have seen this. I'm just going to read it. In a world where so many public figures have resources to do good but refuse to, be like Levi Colwell. The Chelsea defender is funding a programme to provide one full year's access to digital reading platforms for every primary school in the country. The reason is simple: to try and get young kids back into reading. It's nice to have somebody in a position of influence actually use his influence and his money for something as simple and beneficial for people other than those directly connected to him. Every single primary school in the country is getting funding to learn for digital access to for reading by Levi Colwell. You know what, Levi? I'm going to give you a massive, massive round of applause. That's not massive, is it? You know what I mean? But well done, mate. Well done. And a lot of players do a lot of good without showing it. That came out
Oh,
from someone. I don't know who, who posted it. But that's brilliant. It's brilliant to see. And he probably did it without wanting any publicity. But I'm going to give him publicity. I think it's fantastic. So well
I,
done, Levi Colwell.
yeah, I do. It's such a simple thing, but a really important thing as well. So yeah, I completely agree with that. Here, and that's a positive Chelsea news story. So yeah, well done to him.
Yeah. The next celebration is a celebration of James Milner. Wow. Okay. James Milner, 654 Premier League appearances recently. 48 for Leeds, 94 for Newcastle, 100 for Villa, 147 for City, 230 for Liverpool, and 35 for Brighton. And you know what? I'd still pick him every week for Brighton. He's
Yeah,
just doing a great job.
astonishing. He looks. I think he looks better and fitter now than when he was a kid, and he probably is. He probably looks after himself even more now. Just shows that modern football now. I think one of the good things that has come out of it is you don't have. I mean, some players still retire early for whatever reason, falling out of love with the game, injuries, whatever. But it shows that if you keep yourself right and the technology's there in terms of fitness and nutrition, you can keep playing the game you love. If you're good enough, you're good enough, and he is good enough. Yeah,
Mm.
absolutely. I mean, what a career and the clubs he's played for and the things he's won. But wow, yeah, and he's a top professional as well, isn't he? So yeah,
He's not played for anyone shabby, has he? You know what I mean?
not at all.
They've all been
Good clubs.
decent bloody clubs, you know.
Yeah, yeah. I think people would even forget early on that he was, Leeds and then Newcastle and then on to
Yeah,
Villa.
yeah.
Yeah, and you can almost forget about the Man City because he feels almost synonymous with Liverpool, but people forget all the things he did before that at all those other clubs. So yeah,
Exactly.
that is astonishing, and just to have those amount of appearances across your career, but in the Premier League.
Yeah,
Just, wow.
stunning,
Yeah,
stunning.
yeah.
I've got a final celebration. We know that FIFA and the Premier League and the AFL don't like the fans, and Sky don't like the fans. This is one for the fans, okay? This is from one of our regular listeners, Steve Dixon. Sent me a picture and a little write up of three guys outside of Worksop Town Football Club, right outside the stadium. And it's a little note to Steve from these guys. Hi, Steve. Just to let you know that me, Daniel Turner, and my mate Mick Groom from Braintree and Basildon have today both completed the visiting of each of the top six tier 164 football grounds in English football. Hopefully we've saved the best for last at Worksop Town. If you don't mind giving us a shout out, that would be grand. I'm going to give you a shout out, Daniel Turner and Mick Groom. 164 grounds in the six tiers of English football is absolutely brilliant. And you look like just two good lads. You look like two
Oh,
fellas. You look like two fellas who go. I'll be honest with you, you do look like you like a pie, and I'll be honest with you, Dom likes a pie at a match as
so do
well.
I, fellas. Yeah,
You
absolutely.
look like you're good fun. You look like you know your way around the train stations. You look like you're just proper football fans. You'll have been shat on by FIFA, the EFL, Sky TV, and yet you've just completed 164 grounds. I would say though, if you live in Braintree or Basildon, no wonder you want to get away from Braintree and Basildon on day trips, boys. But well done, Daniel Turner and Mick Groom, and thanks Steve Dixon for sharing that with me. Share this podcast with them to get a right shout out from us. We're proper fans. We love them.
I'm kind of envious as well, to be honest. That's amazing. That's an amazing start. Not many people will complete that. I know for a fact
No,
if I tried, I probably wouldn't even have the time anymore to do that. So I'd be
no.
happy with just the 92, let alone getting into the 160s. So that's some going.
It
Yeah.
is. So well done, guys. So listen, we've had a rant about stuff. We've had some celebrations about things. It's just been those observations. There's a lot about football we love. We don't sound like it sometimes. We love football. I'm going tomorrow with 7,500 Borough fans to Blackburn, hopefully for a win. I take 1-0 off someone's arse in the 93rd minute. I'm absolutely hoping at the same time, same kickoff time, 12:15 or 12:30. I don't know which one of them. Sky times, I think it's 12:30. That Millwall get a draw at Ipswich, and that be my weekend. Will be perfect.
It, yeah.
Either way, we still love football. We hate a lot about it, but we love football. So you
I
know,
and I'm celebrating the fact that Everton have got a Saturday kickoff for the first time in 3 months since before Christmas. It is at 5:30 rather than 3, but it is against Chelsea, so that should be good tomorrow. So
oh well, you know what? Absolutely do them. Hope they play tippy tappy football. You go direct route one, and just maybe Duncan Ferguson rises from somewhere in the stands and nods one in at the back post. So yeah, that'd be great,
we
wouldn't
could
it?
really do with a take the roof off moment at the new place. So maybe tomorrow might be it. Fingers crossed, and hopefully by then I'll know that Middlesbrough have won, and it's going to make my weekend. So let's hope.
Fingers.
Crossed all
Let's
right.
not
Yeah.
let's not have jinxed it with our superstition episode last week, right,
Yeah.
mate? Good to see you. I'll just do the outro as usual. The superstition one got a lot of love, by the way. A lot of people are saying, they've got loads of this and loads of that and whatever, and they're all kind of sharing with us how bonkers they all are and that kind of thing. So yeah, that's the key. So that was episode 40, recent observations. I should have said earlier at the start that this is an episode, as ever, brought to you in conjunction with the people at Huddle Up, Adam Franklin and Connor Botterill. Huddle Up are our chosen partners for EFL and National League clubs this year, doing some fantastic stuff around well-being and mental health, and it's about accessing resources for football fans who are struggling in any way, shape or form through their fan base, through their stadiums, through their access to Huddle Up. And we're trying to get into as many clubs as possible. So if you're a fan liaison, commercial person, or heavily into sort of the fan base through fan groups, etc., Adam Franklin and Connor Botterill at Huddle Up. The details are on screen. The details will also be in the show notes. They're trying to do some fantastic work. They've already got 10 or 12 clubs signed up, and we're trying to help them to get into as many clubs as possible. So great work from those guys, and that's in conjunction with the Half and Half Scarf Football Podcast. Episode 41 next time. Because it's the international break when we record it, we've decided to go for the first time on an international level. Can or will England win the World Cup? I've put in brackets at the bottom here. It might be a short episode. But you know what? Let's see. Lots to discuss, lots to debate. A 35-man squad for 2 games against Uruguay and Japan announced today. Bit strange. Some strange names in there. Some big omissions as well. We'll discuss a bit of that, but do we think England can or will win the World Cup? We're not giving anything away. You might have got that from my tone that it might be a short episode, we'll see. All I'll say by way of finishing, my lad Rob is convinced that we will win the World Cup, but then again, he's not been a fan since 1970 like I have. Dom, we'll see you next time, mate. Always a pleasure. Catch up with you soon.
Yeah, will do, mate. Enjoyed this one. Looking forward to the next one. I'll see you soon, mate.
Cheers, mate.
Cheers, mate. Bye bye.